There. My name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine, and today's topic is Master Fool. One of the things that I always want to do in these videos is authentically own the truth, and that means my foibles, my challenges, my growth edge, where I personally have not been the most evolved self throughout my journey, where I've had evolution and growth work to do. It's my goal more and more as I age to give myself permission to not be at 100 on every topic in the universe. And it's like, I don't have to get it all right, quote unquote. What is right? That's an opinion also. So I want to share that piece. I also want to say it's kind of foolish in this realm that we talk about self-esteem, self-respect, self-love, self-care so much. And we also don't own this piece of being able to be honest with a self about what your gifts are. A lot of times, if you're very honest, I tend to be very frank and very direct. And I'll say like, yeah, this is what I do. I'm great at that. I've done that for decades, And it's true. If I've done something for decades, I'm going to have a greater level of mastery. Once I put 10,000 hours into something, I'm more likely to have mastered the topic. I'm going to be more effective at it and better at it than the average bear. And so a lot of times, because there's such rampant narcissism due to things like social media and the constant evaluation of self we're doing in our current cultural age, you almost can't, it's like a two-legged can't just be honest about like, these are my gifts. But I also want to be honest about like, these are my challenges. This is where I have growth. And I also want to be very fair and not expecting everyone to have my same gifts and not expecting others to have my same growth edge, to trust that others may be far more evolved on topics that I'm still growing on. The reason I want to talk about Master Fool is this is one of my foibles historically. As I've aged, I don't feel like this is something that I hold anymore. I pass a place called Master Cleaners and I pass Two Fools Tavern, and it just kind of, the two words Master and Fool just came together in my mind, which is how my guides usually give me a topic, and then I don't prepare at all. I just sit down every time I make a video and I just talk about whatever topic they pop in my head. And as somebody who's read the tarot for over 3 decades, the Fool card is where the major arcana begins. It closes with the world. The major arcana are the 22 out of the 78 cards in a tarot deck that represent the journey of a life. It is the precipice of the major life lessons that we have. We come in, one way to say it, if we don't want to judge the word, it would be helpful, is we come in a fool. We don't know how to speak the language. We don't know the boundaries. We don't know how to walk. We don't know how to speak. We don't know. We have to remember or bring back together all the pieces of what it means to be a two-legged in the world. And it's a long journey. And there's a major component I hold. I've mentioned before, raven, crow, coyote, spider medicine. I am a tricky lady. I hold all the trickster medicine. And I'm tricky in the sense that I do not serve the ego. Trickster medicine foundationally means you don't serve the ego. And where the ego is running rampant, you tend to be a galactic mirror and show yourself where your ego is running rampant and others where the ego is running rampant. That evolution might occur more quickly. That's essentially foundationally what a trickster is. They also can teach through humor and just kind of left of center ways. One of the tricky pieces is in my youth, in the hubris of my youth, I wanted to be right. And I think in the desire, unconsciously in the desire and the drive to be right, so much of my attention has been focused in the spiritual since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. I love spiritual focus. I could endlessly listen to spiritual stories. Today, I was, at the altar and just saying, oh, I could be in temple all day. Something today or yesterday. And I really feel that way. I could just be in temple all day. I could just be in prayer all day. I can feel the lifetimes under which I've done that. But because I've had such a spiritual drive, and because I wanted to unconsciously test that, which I was studying, which is the world's religions, I drew to me many atheists and many agnostics and many very scientific minded people. I love science too. I love quantum mechanics. You may know from my videos if you've been watching them. It's one of my favorite topics. But there's this piece where I just was like creating always someone to argue with about spirituality. And as I've aged, the way I view each individual now is that each individual is a multiverse in and of itself. We can think of each person as their own independent universe. And each independent universe is a thread of unlimited multiverses. And as things operate within the same frequency range, you can think of it as a radio range or a television station range. As we operate within the same frequency range, what happens is the multiverses that align in the same frequency will come together and we will cohabitate in the current perspective that I hold. From an infinite multiverse perspective, there is a component of individual truth, and Feather has her individual truth. My individual truth, the largest, the core, the one that I was raised with, that my beloved friend Momo just made me a bag stating, which is so lovely, is love is the answer. Did you have a question? Oh, love is the answer. Did you have a question again? Love is the answer. Oh, well, if your answer of love didn't include the self, then it wasn't love. Love is the answer. Love includes the self and all that ever is, was, or will be. Now, love does include boundaries, and love is a lot of things. It's not just, incessant tolerance. Love can include boundaries. Love can include walking away. Love can include stewarding your own garden, your own mind, your own temple in a given day. It's always open. It's always freeing. It's always liberating. It never compresses, condenses. So it's expansive. It uplifts. Now, there are many people out there in their multiverse. Love is not the answer. It's not the answer. They don't see it as the answer. They wouldn't say what I just said. And that's not what they're preaching. It's not what they're teaching. It's not what they're walking. Now, I am not right. I'm a fool. You're welcome. Why do you listen to this clown? I am a fool. And the thing about the ego is the ego wants to be right. He's no longer among us. He hung himself. We broke up, and he started dating someone else, and we got to connect about a week before he hung himself, and he came and hugged me, and we did some cleanup around some stuff that he did that needed cleanup. He was kind enough to give me that grace before he exited. But he was a brilliant man, and he said to me, he would always say, right. When we were dating, he would constantly go, right. And I'd say, why do you say right? And he said, oh, because humans love to hear that they're right. The ego loves that. And I like people to feel good when they're around me. So I just let him know, you're right. And I thought, man, you are so brilliant in layers. And it's true. The ego wants to be right. Think about your life. Think about how often you have in your own internal awareness, maybe you didn't speak it, argued with those that don't agree with you. Kind of a foolish thing to do with 8 billion people, because there will always be people that don't agree with you. That's always been the way of the world. It seems to be this paradigm, and it seems to be the way the world's headed. There's this unconscious expectation that we're all going to sing Kumbaya one day and be on the same page. And the only way that we're ever going to get there is to accept diversity, to allow diversity of opinion. And as we go into the technological age, I think step away from that more and more each and every day. So may we free ourselves and get everyone out of the boxes we want to put them in. I don't need everyone to agree with me. I don't want you to. If you agreed with me, this is the thing I've learned as I've come out of that need to be right. I saw it in myself. I started to see it in different aspects of my family. I've seen it even in clients. I might hand you something and you might go, I already do that. Okay, that's great if you already do that. If I'm speaking it, then it means you need to place your attention back on it. Why do you do it? How does it serve you? What are all the gifts that it gives you? Like, let's evaluate, put in the consciousness, how is this medicine a medicine to me? But because the ego likes to be right, it will be like, that's not the answer. I've already got that answer. And it's like, the beauty of being a fool, the beauty of be like a child, which some teachings would say, is that a child is in a state of wonder and awe. A child is open. It's an open vessel. They're willing to take in. They're willing to learn. They're in a receptive state. They're like a void. They're like the feminine principle. They're just little sponges absorbing their environment, learning boundaries, language, wording, walking, talking, all the dynamics. Who am I? That those components of what they're absorbing and what they're taking in grows and expands as they grow and expand in their energetic dynamic from 0 to Kundalini rising at about the midlife, which is where we get our second lease on life. So there is this expansion into the unknown, and there's no emptier cup than that of a babe, a wee babe. Children, relatively empty cup. Adults, I don't know if you talk to many of them, But they know. I know. And I've done that. I'm not judging it. I'm not saying you're wrong or you're bad or go flog yourself. Or I'm just saying, like, it's foolish to think you know anything. You are an opinion sack, I've often said. We're a bunch of, this is a sack of flesh costume full of opinions. Now, how can I know my opinion is right? I can't even prove to you that this is not a dream. There is not a scientist available to me at Earth School that can prove to me that this is not a dream. This could be some sleeping giant's dream that lasts billions of years, but for him it's a night. And so Derek Wisdom gave me that when I was very young, and I thank him for it to this day, because it's a brilliant thought. Like, there are many teachings. We're now working with Hawaiian shamanism or Huna magic, which was coined by Max Freedom Long in the 20s. But we're working in my apprenticeship with this Hawaiian shamanism component. And in Hawaiian shamanism, this is a dream. The Aborigines, some Aborigines see this world as the dream world. And when you go to sleep, that's reality. So it gets a little tricky when we start to really view the concept of what is reality. I've done a video on what is reality before. Today, what I'm really wanting to elucidate is the value of being able to be a fool in your reality, because I love to read. I'm an avid reader. I love to study. My IQ is around 128. Again, not praising myself as a narcissist, but just speaking my truths. That's a truth. And so that intellect of mine has wanted to chew on knowledge, and it's wanted to flirt with this knowledge by talking to others and getting into debates and flushing it up and throwing it around. And as I age more and more, I love to study. I love to study. I was handed in the inner levels the business rare bird medicine because I'm an eternal student, and I more want to be a student kind of other people. And what an interesting character you've chosen. Is that a belief you can have? How fascinating. A child looks at the world with wonder and awe and amazement. Many children believe in magic, which, if you study magic, is a natural phenomenon. It's not supernatural. It's actually deeply natural and has always been around. And a child has the ability to perceive it because they have the propensity to believe it because they have an empty cupness. An adult, I haven't seen enough evidence of magic, but let me tell you the problems I've seen. And it's like, okay, Ptah. Okay, creative speaker of your universe. Okay, God gave the word and the word was God. Your words are creating your reality. And why would you choose one without magic? Boring. I mean, teach their own, I'm not right, but like, you literally can speak anything into being. And how vast is your canvas before you paint any given thing? An empty blank canvas. And what are you made of? Emptiness, guys. Atoms are 99.999% emptiness. Inside of an atom, subatomic particles, 99.999% emptiness. Inside of a subatomic particle, quark, 99.999% emptiness. So what is all of this sea of me and you and everything that we witness in the living tree? Emptiness. The only thing large enough to house everythingness, the blank canvas of quantum waves of probability becoming the particles of our existence, or the paint that we're dipping the paintbrush in to see each and every given day. And there's no better place to become a creator than to start with a blank canvas. There's no direction on that canvas. So as I age, I work more and more to master foolishness, and not only just foolishness of the not knowing, foolishness regarding sexuality. It is amazing to me when it comes to sex, how little conversation happens around it. Ideally, before you choose to share your body, which then also binds and cords on an energetic level with another person, you'll share your mind and your preferences, and you'll have conversation. But this often doesn't occur either. People don't talk about sex. They don't talk about their sexual interests because they don't want to look like a fool. They're so committed to being like, I'm the sexual knower with all the prowess. Well, are you? Because if we haven't had sex, you don't know what I like. So let's have a conversation maybe. Where is it that you could bring some more foolishness into your day, some more clowning around down here, that you might have more freedom in what you create moving forward? You can always subscribe to Rare Bird Medicine on YouTube, like and comment there. Amun.